APC in the state, Pastor Saigi Izeyamu, and the national chairman of the APC, Comrade Adams Oshomole, should be held responsible for the recent explosion of devices in the state. The special advisor to Governor Godwin Obaseki on media and communication strategy, Crusoe Osaigi, made the allegation while reacting to claims by Pastor Saigi Izeyamu and others that Edo State government is behind the attack of the residence of an APC chieftain, Engineer Lawrence Oka. Again, Bestin Berry has details.
Reacting to the explosion that rocked the residence of an APC chieftain in Edo State, Engineer Lawrence Oka, the special advisor to Governor Godwin Obaseki on media and communication strategy, Crusoe Osaigi, alleged that Pastor Osaigi Izeyamu is behind the violence in an attempt by him and the APC national chairman, Comrade Adams Oshomole, to allegedly seize power from the incumbent governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, after a failed attempt by the State House of Assembly.
This is no longer surprising to us as a government. Pastor Saigi Izeyamu as an individual has become the common denominator, when it comes to political violence in Edo State, and in particular when it comes to bomb explosion, because we have been in this party since the beginning of this administration. There has not been any news of bombs exploding in anybody's premises until Pastor Izeyamu indicated interest to join the APC.
Crusoe Osaigi provided a footage of an event in 2014 where Pastor Osaigi Izeyamu accused the former governor of Edo State, Comrade Adams Oshomole, of sponsoring the bombing of a clinic belonging to his wife.
I say categorically that I hold Adams Oshomole, the governor of Edo State, responsible for what has happened. In the past few days, publicly, he has threatened my person. I have it on tape. In many forums, including the rally held at Oka, Oshomole cannot destroy my property because he cannot tolerate opposition. If anything happens to me, I want the people to know who is responsible.
Crusoe Osaigi claimed that since Pastor Osaigi Izeyamu has teamed up with the APC national chairman, Comrade Adams Oshomole, it was only fair to blame Pastor Osaigi Izeyamu for the attack and exonerated the state government from the act.
It becomes clear that perhaps the person who is masterminding this bombing across the state is Izeyamu himself, because until he came to join Oshomole in his faction, EPM, there was no bombing.
While the Edo State government is passing the blame on Pastor Osaigi Izeyamu, the APC chieftain, Pastor Osaigi Izeyamu, has maintained that Governor Godwin Obaseki should be held responsible, as according to him, the governor and his deputy, Comrade Philip Shaibu, are allegedly using violence and attack on opponents to intimidate them. Best Mbire reporting.
Moving now to the foreign scene, Bernie Sanders has won the New Hampshire Democratic primary contest on a terrible night for former Vice President Joe Biden. The left-wing senator took a tight victory over centrist former Mayor Pete Buttigieg, who offered a different Democratic vision in the race to take on President Trump in November. Adesua Irinokai has details.
Mr. Sanders declared tonight the beginning of the end of President Donald Trump's success in New Hampshire, like Iowa, offers momentum for the race ahead, finishing behind Vermont Senator Mr. Sanders and Mr. Biden. Front runners finished in 4th and 5th places. Technology entrepreneur Andrew Young and Colorado Senator Michael Bennet both dropped out of the race. Some 280,000 Democratic voters cast ballot in the Granite State on Tuesday night, delivering 26% to Mr. Sanders. With 95% of the vote counted, Mr. Sanders, 78, led Mr. Buttigieg, the 38-year-old, the former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, by only 1.6%, or about 4,300 votes. Mr. Sanders held a great victory as he thanked supporters from a rally in Manchester, New Hampshire. He said the victory here is the beginning of the end for President Donald Trump, and promised to build an unprecedented multi-generational, multiracial political movement to defeat the Republican. The result will give Mr. Sanders The results will give Mr. Sanders 9 of the 24 delegates who will represent New Hampshire at the July Democratic National Convention, where the party crowns a nominee based on the delegates won. Although he had fewer votes, Mr. Betike will also give 9 delegates, thanking supporters he warned against succumbing to a polarized vision of politics and pitched himself as the centrist to bring new voters in the party. Unlike in Iowa last week, where turnout was disappointing, New Hampshire voters turned out in higher numbers than in 2016. Adesuwa Iwunohai reporting.
About 30,000 people packed a stadium in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, for the state funeral of the country's longest-serving president, Daniel Arap Moi, who died last week at the age of 95. He was a towering figure who dominated Kenyan politics during his 24-year presidency. Adisuwa Iwunohai again brings us details.
Rather than mourning, many in the crowd celebrated Mr. Moi's life. He was a towering figure who dominated Kenyan politics during his 24-year presidency. Critics saw him as an authoritarian ruler, while allies credited him for maintaining stability. Mr. Mois cracked down on the opposition following a failed coup in 1982. Before he left office in 2002, he asked for forgiveness from those he had wronged. Mourners gathered at the Nyayo National Stadium from before dawn to pay their respect, some of them wearing traditional regalia. Mr. Mois' carting arrived in the stadium flanked by long lines of red-coated soldiers and a brass band playing marching tunes and Christian hymns. President Uhuru Kenyatta called Mr. Moi a father of their nation, a champion in Pan-Africanism. Mr. Moi's son, Gideon Moi, remembered him as a man with an elephantine memory and a compassionate heart. Mr. Moi was a stickler for others, so he would have loved his state's funeral, where he was accorded full military honor. His casket was wrapped in the flag of Kenya and was drawn on the gun carried in a tradition borrowed from the British. Sharply dressed senior officials of the military marched across Nairobi, led by a colorful band. Leaders from across the continent and beyond attended the funeral. Mr. Moi played a significant role in the region. Adesuwa Iwunohai reporting.
On health, the World Health Organization says the official name for the disease caused by the new coronavirus is COVID-19. WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said this in Geneva. It comes after the death toll from the virus passed 1,000. Tens of thousands of people have been infected. Rosalind Ewuramen has details.
The World Health Organization chief called on the world to fight the new virus as aggressively as possible. The word coronavirus refers to the group of viruses it belongs to rather than the latest strain. The virus itself has been designated SARS-CoV-2 by the International Committee on Taxonomy of Viruses. Researchers have been calling for an official name to avoid confusion and stigmatization of any group or country. The World Health Organization chief said they had to find a name that did not refer to a geographical location, an animal, an individual, or group of people, and which is also pronounceable and related to the disease. The new name is taken from the word corona, virus, and disease, with 2019 representing the year that it emerged. The outbreak was reported to the World Health Organization on 31st December. There are now more than 42,200 confirmed cases across China. The number of deaths has overtaken that of the SARS epidemic in 2002 and 2003. On Monday, over 100 people died in Hubei. In Hubei province alone, a daily record, and the national death toll is now 1,016. But the number of new infections nationally are down almost 20% from the day before, from 3,062 to 2,478. In recent days, Chinese authorities have increasingly been criticized for their handling of the virus when the cases first emerge. Rosalind Ewuramen reporting.
And that's the size of a package on the World News on ITV. Thank you for watching. I am Blessing A.J. Good afternoon.
independent